is the Bill Squire Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. I am your host, Bill Squire, and I'm here with John Bruton, probably my most reoccurring guest outside my girlfriend. You guys might be about the same.
I like that. I like to be in there.
Yeah, you're a regular on the show. And John and I do a crowd work show. I want to get this plug in right off the bat. It's called Jokes on You. It's at Hilarities. It's the last Sunday of every month. And this January, it's the 30th of the month. So luckily, I don't think there's any football that weekend either. So we're recording this before the Browns even play the Chiefs. But assuming they somehow get past the Chiefs and then get past the Bills or the Ravens, you know, you'd be concerned. Like, oh, no, we can't go because it's, you know, Browns are in the Super Bowl. It's hard to even, but you don't have to worry because that's a bye week. So you can come see John and I do this crowd work show. It's so goddamn fun, and you can get tickets at hilarities.com, and I would recommend it.
Me too.
What's the whitest thing you do?
The whitest thing, stereotypically white thing. I think it would be music. My music taste is pretty Caucasian based. I like Bob Seger and shit like that, and Tom Petty.
Tom Petty's good shit.
I listen to The Doors. Just Bob Dylan.
Okay, I never got deep into
Beatles.
Bob Dylan. I can listen to I know a few of his songs, but I don't really get deep in them. But I like Tom Petty a lot. I like Bob Seger.
Stoner music, like it's good stoner music to me.
Dylan.
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah, so it depends what kind of...
It's just good chill out music, yeah.
How I'm feeling, I'll listen to that and just, sink into the couch.
Yeah, I gotcha.
That might be the whitest thing I do is the stoner music and the taste of music I have when I indulge.
I like that. I don't go real far from rock is what I realize about my music. I'm mostly rock. I listen to a little bit of hip hop, but not very often. I have to be in the right mood and kind of.
Me too.
It's more like a summer thing for me.
It's not even for me. It's just so hard to listen to because some of it, they're making sounds more than actually making. I like the poetry stuff better.
Yeah.
I rather deal with the story.
I was always more into that. Like the stuff that grabbed me more was more Mos Def and.
Black Star, Quality.
Black Star was great, yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite group growing up. Like not growing up, but in high school, I played Black on Both Sides every day. So,
you had friends that they were really into that. They liked Pharoah Monch a lot.
So Pharoah Monch and the Raucous Records isn't on any stream. I've been looking so much. I got to go to YouTube to find them because they're not streaming. There's stuff
sucks.
on Tidal. I didn't see it on Tidal, and I didn't see it on Spotify at all.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't have Apple Music, so maybe might be.
It's on there, but I'm guessing if it's not on one, it's probably not on any of them. All right, now the converse of that, what's the blackest thing that I do?
Blackest might be the way you dress is more matchy than a white guy usually would do.
Yeah, I would say that.
More, it's like
I also cross the street really slow.
It's like that's more hip hop conscious. Is
right? And then I think people will
color coordinate better than the average white man.
I just like that. It's just fun, and especially when
you
got variety, and it's just like a simple thing to do. You can have like the base color be black, and then you can
play around with everything.
Everything else.
Yeah, the darker the color. If you do grays, you can do like any like mute. I mean, it's fun. It's just fun to dress up for real.
And it's easy, and it doesn't, and you can still do it in a comfortable way too. Where like you don't have to get crazy with like fancy shirts or anything like that. Like a good T-shirt with a good jacket and a good pair of jeans.
You can throw something on and still look better. Watch that. And still look better than most people, especially around most white people.
Right.
And it's just like and if you go around black, you just throw some shit on. Like you're throwing on Jordans, and they're already one of the high fashion tennis shoes. So you're just it's a thing it's an innate thing black people do. I think you've acquired that taste too.
I think I always had the taste. I just never had I never put it all together. And so and then once I started making enough money to buy Jordans regularly, and then some, I was like, okay, now I have my look finally.
Because you can play with everything.
Yeah.
Because what is it? I wear any color. I like colors more than I like the shoes. There's only certain shoes I like because they're like stamps to me in my lifetime. Like the Jordan 1.
Yeah.
It's the same as the Air Force One and a Dunk because the Nike check is on the side of it.
Right.
So it's like the signature Nike, but it's like the top end of the Nikes.
Yeah.
I don't know that Nike check classic design is on so many different shoes, but the Jordan is the one where it's like it ain't supposed to be there.
Right. But also the silhouette of the Jordan's a little bit different. It's a little higher than like a Dunk and definitely higher than
but the patchwork's
Air
the
Force
same.
One. Yeah.
So like the structure, the paneling
Yeah.
is very similar. So it's like, I mean, it's just little things like that you care about if you care about it. I mean, I know it's like funny because I know black guys that dress like Childish Gambino. Like they'll dress like I'm wearing thrift store shit. I'm wearing shoes that fit. But and that's cool.
And that's cool. And that's like some guys can make that work so well. It's hard to do that as a bigger dude. So like when you're a chubby dude, thrift store stuff is always a gamble because first of all, you're not going to find a lot of fashionable things that are big because when like a big guy gets a shirt that fits, he hangs on to that shirt until he can't wear it anymore. And then like suits and stuff like that, they all, you just look like a, Tony Soprano. But even like the way he dresses, like I've been watching a lot of Sopranos, and the way he dresses is he's wearing nice clothes, but they look terrible. If that makes sense. Yeah. Like they're high end clothes,
but they look like shit.
I hate it. I hate the way they dress.
You'll see that a lot when when people start trying to be fashionable. Yeah. They forget that making a statement is cool, and it's you making the statement. When you're trying to just dress different and you have no really point, you look silly.
Or even when you just wear like slacks and like polo shirts look good on like 3 people in the entire planet. Like polo shirts are not a good shirt.
It's not.
It's not a good shirt at all. Especially
but the rugby shirt can be done right. The
rugby shirt can be done right, but like in like a loud print button up can be done right. But it's all about what you match it with. Yeah. But like a lot of the way they dress on The Sopranos, I know it's kind of dated too, but it's still like they're not trying to be like in the time. They're dressing the way like middle-aged Italian men would dress. And you got some of the guys that like go all out, but even when they go all out, like Paulie and Silvio, they're wearing like what they think is fashionable, but it's gaudy as fuck and looks terrible.
When you come from there's a through line. Whenever you come from like humble beginnings and you get money, you are gaudy.
Yeah. Or if you lose a bunch of weight, you go through a leather jacket phase.
I mean, with that losing weight is nobody's like mad at that until you start like not you, but until somebody starts like trying to get fitness tips and it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like you did it right. you turn that franchise around. Don't act like you came at the game.
Right.
So like girls do that.
That's such
a lot of girls do that now. Like a lot of girls, they'll get surgery and then they'll start trying to preach on how to take care of your body. It's like, hey, whoa, us the regular built girls over there, they don't give them tips. They didn't break. Like you
they
filed
never
bankruptcy.
went that far. Yeah,
you filed. And I'm not here to say it like this, but like to me, I think it's like emotional bankruptcy. Like you filed, you're gonna be cool. Yeah. But you push the reset button. You don't like something, you want to fix it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's fine, but don't start talking down on people. Like you can be bankrupt and not have to tell on anybody.
I think a lot of that too is
don't try to fix my credit if I have bankruptcy on your credit. That's what I'm saying.
So social media like empowers people to make them think that their journey is, because it gets such a reaction on social media that when you get that, they're like, oh, well, this is what I did. And people always ask for advice. And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to give it. I don't like giving people advice on anything. Like even like when people come to me about comedy and stuff like that, I don't mind giving them advice, but my biggest advice is just start doing it. Yeah, whether it's podcasting, anything.
There's no
no matter what it is,
riddle you can give them to solve the equation of comedy.
Do it. Like if you need to lose weight, you know what to do. Eat less, exercise more. You have to have a calorie deficit. That's how you lose weight. That there's no secret to it. There's no secret to podcasting or comedy. It's doing it. That's the biggest secret.
It gets better. Everything gets better if you're supposed to be doing it. Some people are garbage forever.
Oh yeah.
And you got to deal with that. The bad kids don't quit.
Those are the. I can't imagine being those people. Like, and I've known so many of them over the years, and they stick with it, and they just don't quit. And I'm like, how do you keep going when it's just so painful every time?
Every industry I've been in that I've dedicated like some time to, I call it the revenge of the nerds is like the concept where the cool kids were not really communicating with each other. They was too busy being cool. So they was getting their shit built together. They weren't building together. They were building their own solo thing. The nerds, or we were going to call them, who had nothing, just got stronger together. It's like how you get Trump. Like, not knocking him, but he just was
No, I understand.
He wasn't a politician.
It's the disenfranchised people that...
Yeah, it's like those people have now turned the corner. They became majority, and then they realized that they're not good for power. Like, if anything, you just realize, okay, guys like Trump really aren't leaders. They're bosses, but they're not leaders.
But he's not even a good boss. He's a con man. Like, he's good for himself and his family, but he's not like a leader of men. Yeah, but
so when you get this money, you realize that money is not a character trait. If you're really paying attention, it's like he got there as a regular guy. He was not a politician, and we got to start saying, okay, politicians need to be in government. We don't need to have civilians just go to the top.
Right.
Like, turn him into a politician. Reagan was a politician for 8 years, like a real live politician before he became president. So he had to learn how to get the shit going, how to campaign, how to say yes, how to say no, what I'm saying yes and no to, what the point of the game is. So you say what you want, but he was a great politician.
Right.
Like, most of our presidents until recently were all the best politician.
Yeah.
Bush, you don't got to like him. He was the best politician.
I would say he was more...
For wartime, I like him over...
I would say...
Gore.
George Bush he's a product of
old government,
nepotism and the old government. And like he was grandfathered. Like, if his dad wasn't who he was, he's not getting there.
Oh, no, but that's the whole point.
But Kennedy, I understand that.
Kennedy either.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's why I want a family bred for that. Like, if you see an athlete, like, oh, that's so-and-so's son. Cool. That makes sense.
I guess that's one of the things where you're like, oh yeah, you see like Glenn Robinson III in the league, you're like, hey, man, I knew your dad.
Kenyon Martin's son in the league. Tim Hardaway Jr. You like Larry Nance. You like
Larry Nance Jr. I love that dude.
You like that makes sense. He comes from the stock of this shit. We all have it. Teachers. Oh, think about how many people. My mother was a teacher. My grandma. Those people exist. That's true. Yeah. We all do it. It's just that when it comes to
we broke off.
Politicians, they don't like to know
my dad's heart. My dad wanted me to be a bricklayer like him and take over his business. He had 4 sons and none of them wanted anything to do with his business.
And you think I was thinking about that too. Like, if I do this design stuff, will she even care to really pick it up, or just should I look for somebody else? Like, am I building this for her, just building a business to get money?
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. It's like, I'm just gonna have my own personal life, and I have to make money off of it.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I don't expect anybody to follow in, especially like a creative field like that. It's so just daunting.
Hope she figures it out. But her mother is very technical. Like, she took the steps to get to where but she's a black woman, so she had to.
Yeah,
she couldn't skip steps anyway. So, like, that's the way black women don't experience nepotism. Really, it would be nice if they could understand it, because they hate it. They resent it because how many people can? Well, you did, because they don't really have a vouch system the same. And I don't know why, but they just don't have that vouch like we do. Like, men or any other race, it's just black women don't really have the vouch system going like they could.
And I think women have it, but I think it's harder because they're not bosses, and they're not in. When they do create something, they hang on to it. So like,
we did too.
They'll bring people in, but they're not letting go.
Yeah, they gotta get used to it first.
Yeah,
it's like mercy. Men can have mercy physically. If you see dudes fighting another man, he stops at a certain point. Women fight because they don't have that muscle tight enough to be merciful if they get physical. So they're like, a woman's not gonna be over your head like this, and it's like she gonna the punch is coming. Like, if she loses the physical, it's going physical. Like,
right.
So because they're not used to power. So it's like, I get when you get used to it, it's a lot easier to wield it. But right now they're driving cars with no license.
But that I would say in the last 10 years that's changing quite a bit. And you're going to see that shift start to happen, especially as they like make their way into male-dominated fields like coaching and stuff like that. I think that'll definitely.
That's the shitty part. She got to win.
Yeah,
like it's like
she got to win big too.
Yeah, like she got to hold the trophy up somehow. It'll be finals, conference finals, or something. It's just like they can't just coach. And I get it though. As a black person, you realize, women. Some women have it different than others, but the women also have to compete with the white man standard. And I'm not trying to be all Mr. Farrakhan with it, but that's what it pretty much is. It's like, okay, if you think of a job occupation, and I just say doctor, think of white man. Yeah. Most jobs, think of a white man. Minus nurse, but the average job.
And that's starting to be a lot more white men in the nursing field because all the other jobs are going away.
I mean, but like before, like it was the way we're taught. It's just like the word language. You're like, I got any job. So most jobs that sound like anything, you think it's a white man.
Yeah.
Until somebody says, I got a therapist. What are they? Like,
see, and that's one of those things that I think has changed too, because I think there's a lot of women therapists. I think there's a lot. It's starting to, and it's slow, but it's starting to change a little bit.
It'll be a while.
But I think you're right that when you say those certain jobs, you go, the white man.
Yeah, it's like instantly white man. Even if it's just the most, like I know a programmer. It's like, oh, you think the white man first. And says, oh, he's because then you got to classify it with, oh, he's an Indian, he's she's, they, whatever. You just got to classify it after you say that first. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that's where we're at. It's
just how we've been conditioned.
Yeah, so everybody's going to do it because you have to classify. Everything's going to have this. You can't break this language down. It's not racial and to the point where it's racist. It's just that how we will always, we'll go from this image first and then classify it to where it fits. And that's fair. That's their brain working. Some people make it feel like it's wrong that it happened that way. Like the fact is, we're in America. You can feel like it's a utopia place that we should be, but should is not a country.
But that's, yeah, well.
a lot of people live in should.
A lot of people live in should, and a lot of people see that shift as such a threat to their ability to, even though they don't have those jobs. I mean, you see these people that feel like, oh, we're getting replaced or I'm like, no, there's just more people.
Yeah.
And they need more jobs. And if you want that job, go get that job. You can still go get a job.
Yeah. You know how people do remote? Like you deal with you got a website, right?
Yeah.
You ever dealt with having to talk to the customer service?
Yeah, of course.
That person is doing whatever. And then they get an alert when it's time to chat to you.
Yeah.
And then they get on their computer but they can do that anywhere.
Right. Well, that's what the pandemic has proven, that a lot of people can do anything anywhere.
Yeah, a lot of jobs you ain't gotta go there.
Yeah, and it's just gonna change the way people do things. Like they'll have their location, but they're not gonna make these big ornate offices anymore, when you can just be like, you do your work here and then once a week you come in and we'll have our meeting or whatever, but then we're just gonna treat you like adults and get your work done.
Yeah. And
I think that's great.
Yeah, money's gonna, because they gotta restructure what money's good for.
Right.
Because you got a lot of people who need money and then people who just have money. And they got to figure out a way where those people don't get angry. Because right now, everybody's mad. So this is the first wave of your Capitol Storm rioters.
Yeah.
It's going to be another group that's going to try to get the same attention. So it's like, who's upset next? And it won't be it won't always be storming the Capitol. No, that's just their reaction.
It's gonna be a different
version. It's gonna
be
another person trying to stop traffic to get some attention. It's like laying in the middle of the street to make you listen to me.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen again. It's gonna be another group. Women tried it, but they get ignored easy. So protests won't really hurt. Like you can be and watch all you want.
But again, it's because they're, like you talk about the Women's March, like those are peaceful protests, and that's like a gathering, and it's like empowering. But like, what is it? What's the goal of that?
Yeah, you're not.
Whereas this was this was disruptive, and it was meant to be a coup, and they just they failed. But it was still like way worse than anybody really thought.
Well, because it was actually an attempt. Like the thing is, they compare it to a protest, which is shitty. Yeah. Like looting is the result. That's like the after party to the protest.
Right.
Like right now, we're gonna have some speakers. We're going to have some rallies. We're going to have some things get signed. After that, all the older folks who organize this shit are going home. Now, y'all can do what y'all want. Fuck this city. We going to show them how we make the police work. If you want to, we're going home. Then the riot can start. And then sometimes we don't stay. Like, that's the thing. Like, we know the rules. We're taught the rules and how not to fuck up early. Like, I knew Emmett Till's name before I could spell it. I heard the story about what you don't do with white women. You don't even talk to them. We didn't know. I was raised under that preset of he got killed for it, and we didn't even know about the lie part yet. It was just you can't whistle like them, man. They get you. You get that download. Black women have the same story for some other stuff. They get other stories. I don't know what their stories are. I wouldn't want to hear them. And it's just weird because now we're starting to listen though. That's the one thing we do have to start doing. Start listening. People are so quick to say, "Oh yeah, that person is this way." No, those two aren't correlated.
And I think the listening thing is important, but the problem is we don't have to listen to everybody, because there are people out there that are just
Attention seeking,
and they're crazy, and they're not. They're you can't always be right, and that's what they are. They're like, oh, there's these people that stormed the Capitol. The only person they would listen to say that the Donald Trump lost the election is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going at that level, you can't reason with that person. Therefore, if you aren't speaking on the same plane of honesty, you can't reason with that person.
But you need to see that they exist too.
You need to see that they exist,
yeah.
But they also have to acknowledge that they got to be more forthright with why they are the way they are. And they have to acknowledge that, yeah, I'm believing in some shit that's not real.
Because the thing is, like, this ain't democracy. It's like, actually, this is
exactly democracy.
You lose power. We transition power. It's the whole process that is called. It's got a term and everything.
When the guy at the top, Donald Trump, is a known liar, and he's lied his entire life.
But you got to look for the lie to call him a lie. Like, you're not looking. Those people aren't looking for lies.
No,
they're looking
they're looking for an echo chamber. They're looking for people that are saying the things that they want to hear. And so when they hear it, they go, well, that's the truth. And when they try and tout up, like, what about all the good things Donald Trump did with the numbers and shit like that? It falls on deaf ears to people like me and you, because it's like, that's just not worth it for all the other shit he put everybody through.
Basic politics is not going to get me impressed by a president. Yeah. Like, I know too much about the system where it's like, oh, he did this. Yeah, every president signs something that works out. You get
it's
4 years, for God's sakes.
And you inherit an economy from Barack Obama that was on the rise, and you don't ever acknowledge anything that he did. Like, you can't like, it can't be that one sided where it's like everything we did is great, everything they did is trash. You say you're going to build this wall, you're going to put in a healthcare system, and you don't do any of that shit. You say you're going to upgrade the infrastructure of the nation. That's like the first thing he said he was going to do. The infrastructure is going to
because if you don't know, you believe him. If you're a white guy who thinks he's rich, so he's like a good celebrity to you, then he got your vote. Because it's like the Romans. We talked about this before. The Romans, you can't be in a theater and be Zeus, and then run as James,
right?
Because they're gonna see Zeus on the poster, and they're gonna vote for Zeus. Like, so you see, they knew that shit back in the 9s, not even 19s. They knew that back in the 6s and 8s and shit. And they knew that, hey, when we do this shit,
the 6s and 8s.
like, that was civilization's first thing. Hey, whoa, we gonna have entertainment, but these entertainers cannot run shit. They're stupid. They're doing some fantasy. Like, let them.
Right. And
he worked his way. He did it.
He worked it, and but he knows how to play on.
He's a performer.
He's a performer. And he knows what gets people riled up, and he knows the power of divisiveness to create people that are that see everything binary, like it's right and wrong. There's no gray area, and so when
Jesse
you
Ventura
look at things that
was
way,
a
it's
governor.
not good.
That should just show you that we are
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it's like we let Terminator. Somebody's like, yo, Arnold gonna take care of business. He's not even a citizen here. He's not rooted in this shit. His best years when growing up, he wasn't here. He came here to work and he found love. Yeah, but he's not an American like that. He'd had to grow up on our shit.
But in his defense, there is something to be said about someone that came here from another country and loved it
cool,
so much.
But it's.
I think that's
the rules are still the rules, and they kind of.
Well, he can't run for president, but he can. I mean,
yeah. So like him being in our politics is a homegrown guy that would be better at the job, but he's gonna get some votes because of the fact he's just Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He got most of his votes.
So like I'm not saying he's horrible at the job, but there's a guy who was better at the job.
Yeah,
like just because he was made for the job.
Yeah,
Trump is the same thing. Like think about if Vince McMahon wanted to become a mayor, he got it.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon could be the mayor of any metropolitan city with a majority white and that demographic. Because black people, they fuck with wrestling, but not like his demographic.
Right.
He could pull more people than Trump for certain reasons.
Yeah.
Because he's not considered racist.
Wrong. Yeah.
Vince McMahon could run for mayor, and it's like, yep, Vince McMahon now is the mayor of this town.
He could probably run for governor too. I think his wife's a senator, isn't she?
I don't know much about his life.
I think his wife she's a politician of some sort.
Well, it makes sense. He's great at people. He knows how to put people. He knows how to make characters that aren't considered cancel culture. Like because those people don't float over to wrestling.
Right.
They just let wrestling be wrestling and say, you know what?
But
that fight ain't worth it.
But they had to adjust though because they.
Oh yeah, but you can't
like
have
the Attitude
Harlem
Era,
Heat because Harlem got gentrified, so you got to kind of like stay with the time.
But also like
can't have Detroit blankety blank.
But they had the whole like they had like a porn star and a pimp and like back in like the 90s Attitude Era. There was like more. But like every girl was posing in Playboy.
Yeah,
all
DX
that shit.
Was
So
DX had Suck It.
Yeah, Suck It. So like
a lot of it had to grow with people, but he knows those groups of people, and he gives everything to everybody. Before you could be the Suck It guys, because the Suck It before it became the frat boy ideal.
Yeah,
he made the frat boys. He gave them identity.
Yeah, they
were always there. He didn't create a monster. No, they now got a thing. Anytime you see a white guy do that, you're like, I'm not even surprised he does that.
Right.
Like that's it makes sense you would do that shit. I know the origin. 6-Pac or whatever the fuck, which is X-Pac, which was the fucking. It just makes sense. You like, all right, this is okay. This is white guys like Eminem types. You think Eminem the best rapper?
I wouldn't even put him in Eminem type. I would put him in like.
I mean, those people, those same
Rock.
fans, those same fans who, if you think Eminem's the best rapper, it's like, sure, if you just start listening to rap.
Well, yeah, that's the only
like,
rap you know.
Yeah, I can't say you're wrong because he is good, but it's just the taste is different, and that taste, that Vince McMahon knows people's taste.
Yeah,
he knows how he could be a governor easy. Like if he gets tired of the wrestling thing and he sees entertainers can do this shit, why not?
I just don't think it's worth it. I think what Trump has proved that is if you want to get in there, you can, but it's just so goddamn like draining.
But imagine
like nobody feels good about life right now because of that.
But if Vince, this is keep it on Vince's hypothetical stupidness.
President, I want.
Let's take
it from mayor, from governor to president.
Well, I think he can do. Well, mayor's easy peasy.
Yeah.
Governors are where it gets fun because that's when he can lean to the left, right.
State, yeah.
And he got to deal with CNN on his ass. And the thing that he's better off is Trump lost the black vote because once he started running, they start bringing up your quotes. Mm-hmm. Vince McMahon doesn't have any quotes about the Central Park Five.
Right.
He doesn't have any quotes about women in a certain way. Like he actually so squeaky clean that you only have his body of work as an entertainer, so he can do the whole introspective, deep man talk.
Yeah.
Like,
and separate those two because he can always say, well, anytime I was in wrestling, I was a character playing a heel.
He has The Rock co-signing him. He has all the entertainers, like he has The Rock co-signing them.
Got a lot of detractors too, though, because a lot of those wrestlers hate him. Because
but they won't have a microphone in their face.
Yeah, but they'll speak up.
But you think The Rock is the wrestler. Everybody else, like you can have The
Rock and Steve Austin.
It can be some guys tweeting, but like their Twitter account is 300,000 of those niche people who still gonna fuck with Vince.
Yeah,
you're a disgruntled employee versus The Rock, who is the golden child of America.
The debates would be fucking awesome.
Oh, it would be great because he'd have one good quote and they love him for it. He could galvanize the crowd. Like it's just, it would be fun to see Vince McMahon do it. Like as long as we keep it humble, like hey, keep him back. He got to have a break. Like
he's got to do it in a state that isn't super important either. Like he's got to do like. He can go up to.
He can run Oregon. He could run Oregon up and down because Oregon is just tense enough with race relations that he could go in Oregon and they're just so white you forget about them.
Yeah,
that he can still get some votes fucked around and get some shit going.
Yeah, and that's got
he could Frank Underwood situation. But he got the power. He got the influence. It's just his motives would be the part we got to worry about. Trump's motives were very much I have none.
Well, his motives were.
Ego
and trying to get back at Obama for like it was like a lot of revenge shit.
It was na. Like look at me, I got the job. But the thing is, you didn't take his job. Still,
right?
It's like NBA championships. Like we're better than that team from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They didn't. No, you're not.
You didn't beat that team.
Yeah, like you won a championship. It's different. All the teams this year, you won.
Him beating Hillary is like beating. Like the Raptors beating Golden State without their stars.
It was like it's a victory, but we
kind of won
like,
the championship.
But what?
But Durant and Clay weren't there. Yeah. So
like she should. It was a cakewalk for her. I get he just was so. If it would have been any other politician against Hillary wins. Mm-hmm. But when you put an actual entertainer against a politician, the entertainer is going to always get your emotion because you're voting. You're not doing a math quiz and then answering the question.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in a technical mindset and then it gets to who should be president. And you're like, oh, who should be president? Like, I know I would like to see Donald. Because a lot of guys, they vote like, I would like to see Donald Trump be president.
Yeah, let's do something different.
If you don't have any skin in the game, you don't have to worry about your vote. Like your vote isn't Selma.
Right.
Like every person in America's vote wasn't having to march to get this right.
Yeah.
So some of it is just fucking around. Like we vote about the word voting isn't sacred. We vote for contests. Like the Masked Singer.
Well,
pick up your
and then also there's because of the Electoral College, it's all fucking moot in certain areas anyway.
Yeah, like
my vote didn't matter in Ohio because it's a red state. Like this is a hard red state now.
Oh yeah, but you gotta think before.
Yeah.
They were kind of on the fence because it wasn't so emotional.
Right.
It was the facts still. It was still based in some facts. And like, oh, this person there is irresponsible. But back in the day, it was this person's irresponsible. That's it. That would be the insult.
Oh man.
Now,
dude, I've been watching
crazy.
the Larry Sanders Show, and like the first season, there's a lot of Dan Quayle jokes, and they're all just back to he spelled potato wrong. Like Trump has spelled every word wrong.
Yeah,
like his tweets, like
they're not they're most
trash.
Because to be a genius, that's what they're intellectuals.
Yeah.
So for them to not have like his potato thing was it lasted for years.
Right. For years. Like
yes.
It ruined his career. He was vice president, and then he had to go away because he spelled potato wrong.
Gore gets joked about for making the internet.
Yeah.
The joke about fucking Gore. Al Gore, who was also vice president.
Yeah.
His wife did.
Who was almost president.
Oh, it should have been.
Yeah.
But it would have been a different world. But that's a whole time.
I know. That would be an interesting
but his
screenplay to write. Is like,
didn't his
if
wife
Gore won.
have wasn't Al Gore's wife the one who had the parental advisor too?
Yep.
So she has her impact on forever making sure people pick up the right one to play in the car.
Yeah.
And he has the internet.
Yeah.
For the public. That's the joke is he made internet. Or he tried to save the environment.
Right.
Like you get Trump. The whole 4 years, it was comedy for that's what he did today. Grab him by the snatch was a presidential quote.
Presidential. It was a. He was still running at the time, but yeah, it's fucking. It's
you never
crazy.
have Obama. Obama says jackass. And that's he don't really talk.
Well, they tried to when Obama was on Marin, they're like he said the N-word. It's like
in context, yes.
Yeah, in context, yes. And also he has been called it enough that he gets to say it.
And I love the I was talking about the quote earlier today about how he just said, yeah, racism isn't ended because you can't scream nigga at me on the street and actually you still can. Yeah. Like you still can actually call me a nigga in the street. I mean, he says just because you can't call me a nigga. He said nigger. Like he said the word for the sentence to be quoted, and they acted like he was on there. You know, Mark, my nigga, it like wasn't even that type of energy. Like,
kind of would have been great though.
Oh, he would have been just like, I'm out of here. But then it would have put a stain on his image because he's not that guy.
No, he's not that guy.
He's just not the guy who was relaxed like that. His relax is still. I am a fucking politician.
I'm a politician first. I'm put together. I'm not lowest common denominator. I'm not going to attack you.
My collared shirt and my tie. If I want to really relax, I loosen my tie. But fuck you, I wear suits. Like he's not that. He's just that guy. He's just you can approach him, but he's still a politician.
Man, what a fucking hard job though to be the fucking president, man.
Think about being a mayor. Mayor starts off, you just got to deal with the budget for police or schools or medical. And you got, damn, that's hard. He goes through it. Mayor still got to deal with the shit. Then the governor got to do the whole state. So parts of the state want certain.
Especially anybody, I feel like there's a lot of politicians that after this pandemic, they'll be like, I'm good. I don't want to do this shit anymore. This is fucking miserable. Because you can't make, you're not going to make everybody happy. But you have people that are just flipping out over the dumbest shit.
You care, but the reason politics is fair is because it's not about passion; it's about majority. So if this group over here is 17 women screaming, they don't like one thing at this place, like it's a sign. It's a way that the only customers in this place are 17 women.
Yeah,
and they want a stoplight, but that stoplight funding would take something from the local high school that's winning, and they need some funding for their school. I'm going to give that to that whole school because there's more than 17 women.
Right.
If it's a school and a football team, that's 52 parents. If a couple brothers, that's 48 parents. I'd rather have those 48 parents vote for me as mayor again than those 17 women complain about how they're going to vote for somebody else. Yeah. And I'll take my chance with that 17.
Right.
It's like it's politics, it's majority. Once you play the majority game, it don't matter how you feel. It's King Solomon. I don't give a fuck whose baby it is.
But that's why they also have to go, Republicans have to do all the gerrymandering and shit like that to
Because they're all bad. They're all bad. It's just like Democrats have a safer base right now because they're not on top, according to the painted picture.
Here's what I think the problem with like the Republicans is they're not playing to the financial aspect of it. They're playing more to this religious and QAnon crowd.
But that's the same thing a Republican can say about Democrats.
But and they could.
Yeah,
but I'm saying like you play to that middle more then you're going to bring more Democrats that are more centrist into your way of thinking.
Yeah,
and I think that, but like that's not like it doesn't grab headlines doing that shit.
Oh no, but politics.
And you also need
became
that base.
Sexy. It became sexy with Ted Turner. You know, he made the news network every day. We got a news cycle now, so we got to give you something.
Man.
But when it comes down to the actual,
did you watch
numbers,
Bombshell?
Yeah, me and my girl watched it, and she was falling asleep because it was interesting enough. There's two black people watching it. You just like, man, you have your opinions about it. You like that's all right. Buyer's remorse. It should have been fucking buyer's remorse. Yeah. It wasn't. He fucked all these women. But he was leveraging them. Like you can say no. I mean, I get, and I might get killed for. You don't understand. I don't understand. I haven't been in that position to have a dick in my face for success. Mm-hmm. But who knows what I do?
For a TV show and a check.
Yeah, depends. Like, am I gonna be on air? On air personality?
On air personality, making a lot of money.
Ain't nobody and nobody gonna know. They gonna think I worked hard.
I got a sign. I got a sign so that nobody knows. Like,
hey, India, give it here. Yeah. Shit. I mean, so it's like I don't know. I don't know how it feels. So I just. But majority when it comes to politics, majority is over right. It doesn't matter who's right. It doesn't matter how many people believe I'm right because we're both right. It's emotional.
Yeah. All right. So, but put a woman in that Roger Ailes position, and then she's trying to get dudes to go down on her.
Lady Eloise from Boomerang. Remember that silly ass shit with Eartha Kitt and Eddie Murphy?
Yeah. And so she's doing that, but like, she's like calls us into her office, and she's like, "I need you to, do this," and then you do it, and then she goes, "Now you get a TV show," and you go, "Oh, I was just doing it because I wanted to do it." I mean, that's what like I was just like, all right, I'll eat a little pussy for today.
If a woman was in that position, the game would just be thriving. You know how many men would fuck? Like we would just we don't have sexual equity. Like we don't really hold on to it to give it to somebody later when we feel like they're righteous. Uh-huh. We're like, yo, she's attractive enough for this function.
Yeah.
So like if we
don't have sexual equity is a great sentiment.
Like if we had to think about if comedy was ran by men, by women, and comics were like still men, but the business of it was women. Mm-hmm. You know how many men would get a TV show and shut the fuck up? How many the sitcom era would pop back?
But that's what
Tone Bell would be on TV. As pretty as that motherfucker is, Tone Bell would be on TV every goddamn channel if he had to. If it was women in charge,
and you get that with the Comedy Store because Mitzi was running things, and so it was. I mean, she did not hold back. Like she would pass women if they're funny and men if they're funny. Yes. But they also had to have. It wasn't just about being funny.
Star quality.
You had to be star quality
as you should.
That you could be on TV, and then you have to be handsome or anything like that. But you had to have something that set you apart.
Yeah, and as it should be.
Yeah,
I mean, if we did that here, some people would work more, and a few would work less. If it was based off of having that thing, minus just being able to do the job, because we got a lot of passable, say they're comedian people here. Like I'm a comedian, sure. But as far as that thing where that's going to be something to pay attention to, far and few between.
That's hard to have that voice, and I think and then also to know in the business where that voice is going and what's going to be the next, who's going to be the next star and how you can have different versions of that guy. So like it goes in, these cycles where like someone hits the top and then they have a bunch of like baby versions of that guy.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be some Mary types in the years to come. There's going to be a lot of women who I'm just a regular girl. It's like, yeah, Mary ain't no regular girl. That motherfucker's a savage. Like, she knows how to write a joke. She knows that. She's self-aware. Like, she was first year doing jokes about drunk girls in a bar. Mm-hmm. Like, she knows who she is. And she's doing it before it became a common voice.
Because there just wasn't that many people doing it. And even in Cleveland still, there's not enough women to to turn any away, really.
Oh yeah, that's why I kind of laugh when I hear about some people complain about being a woman. I said in certain jobs, hell yeah. Others, nobody cares. There's not enough numbers to really argue about that one. Like women here, you'll get booked because you're just available.
But then if you're funny, you get booked a lot.
Yeah,
like if you're Mary or Liz Blanc or anyone that has an act, you can and even just be decent. And that goes with the men too. Like if you can just do your time and not make the crowd turn on you, you'll get work around here.
Be professional enough.
Yeah.
It's not hard, but it seems like it's not hard. But like you said before, writing comedy for people or with people, they ask you for advice, and you just tell them do it, and that's all you really. Because it's not a formula thing where it's like I can tell you this riddle. I mentioned this before. I tell you a riddle, you figure this riddle out, and then you'll understand comedy forever.
Right.
It's not that. Your brain just has to be able to write that style.
And you have to figure out what your style's going to be too, because I can't figure out who you are on stage. I don't know enough about you. I can give you beats. I can give you ideas of how to
but I can't
the
write
process of it, but I can't figure that shit out for you.
I've tried it too. Some comics, I've given them jokes. Like I've given them jokes I would write if I was them, and they'll try and say it, and they miss the point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not really funny then, because I gave you the beats. Like,
right.
It's not even my voice.
It was sounded out.
Yeah, it's not even my voice. I'm talking like you.
And we were just texting earlier about, and you mentioned this cancel culture thing and how I think that's going to swing back to people being able to be a little more reckless on stage again.
I mean, because
at this point,
it's if you survive, because I mean, you can talk about anything. It's just doing it the right way.
Right.
It just
and then also audiences understanding that it takes more than one time to tell a joke to get it right. So sometimes you're going to say something that's going to come across offensive. You mean it in a funny way, and it's just not hitting. And people have to understand that process. And I think Chappelle's kind of drilled it into people's head. Bill Burr's drilled it into people's head. Like we got to be able to figure this shit out. So when you're harping on me for a joke that's not done, or you're just taking the idea of it and taking the humor out of it, then you can make a million things cancel culture worthy because you don't like the idea of, like, I did a joke the other week about the Browns being in the playoffs. Like last year I had the joke about how they were bad because we were drinking White Claws, and I said the gods of football demand a blood sacrifice. Here we are, 300,000 people dead later in the playoffs, winning games. And people laugh like crazy because they understand the context of it. I'm not saying that's a good thing, 300,000 people dead.
No, but it's facts.
But it's just, it's correlating facts that aren't really related.
Yeah, like I did a whole related thing where I said, I hate to do a joke, but I said that, white boys been acting crazy ever since Jake Paul, knocked out Nate. And I'm like, I'm tired of Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson should have knew it's a Tyson fight. We lost a black man before to a Tyson fight because Tupac died after a Tyson fight. Tyson fights have not been great for black men.
Yeah.
Then I talk about the Twisted Tea thing. How the Twisted Tea had a lot of different scenarios. I'm like, I saw things that not nobody, but people didn't really think at first thought. Like the Twisted Tea, I think Trayvon Martin and his iced tea hitting this man with oppression. Then when he threw him to the ground, like, yeah, put your knee on his neck. And he just punched him a couple of times and knocked him out for Nate Robinson. Like that whole, it's just a string of it, but it's like all racial. It's racial as hell, but I'm not really.
But it's like
talking about the white man. No, it's just like, man, the racism here is the dude, he got hit in the mouth for saying nigga to a man who said stop saying it. And he ain't even do nothing crazy yet because we all play this game called What Would You Do If a White Man Called You a Nigga? Every black person plays it. It's like winning the lottery. Yeah. Like, if I won the lottery, I'd buy this. If a white man ever called me a nigga, I'm gonna drop kick him. Say all kind of stupid shit. Yeah. And this dude he had to now do that. Like the pressure, because people
after asking the guy to stop a bunch of times.
Because you don't want to fight the nigga fight. Like I don't leave the house, wait and go into the line. It was a man with a Trump hat once at the gas station. He let me in front of him because all I had was I had iced tea in my hand, and I was gonna get gas. He let me cut him. Had a Trump hat. It wasn't instant tension. Yeah. We talk about how stupid the masks are and why we got to be spaced out 6 feet apart with masks on and how long the line was. We're just two people in the moment, in the room. Not, hey, you hate black people. I'm not going to, you let me cut you because you saw I didn't have anything. And we're talking now. it's like you can coexist.
Right, and you can find those commonalities that
and with
like,
context
hey,
is everything. And
there's some dumb shit we can all relate to.
And cancel culture just gets rid of context. Yeah. It's how I feel right now hearing that one sentence out of context. You said you made a joke about people dying. Yes.
And a comedy club is the context that you this thing in a comedy club trying to be funny, even if it wasn't funny.
I'm making fun of everything.
You're trying to say something funny in that moment. And sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed, but the challenge is fun. It's fun to have that challenge and take something that we're not supposed to joke about and joke about it and make it funny in perspective. And then, precedent set where this is what comedians have done for a long time. And you have to, there is absolutely like comics that are just being hateful and shitty, but when the difference. And when you're just trying to write a blog to get clicks to try and take down somebody that's famous.
Because I think when it comes to the jokes, it's not a TED Talk. It's just some people want to go there they'll try to control what you say. And it's like, why don't put this on me because that's how you feel about me.
Right.
Like they're not really, they claim to be self-aware, but they're not really understanding that this joke, I said these two sentences before I even got to the punchline. Now, you didn't like the punchline because I say a word you don't like, but you associate that word with something completely different.
Right.
So like the joke, the joke holds up. No comic at this point that's actually getting booked doesn't know how to tell a good joke.
Right.
Like, trust that the booking people, the manager knows the comic he's booking. So when people try to say, oh, that was this, that, and the other, you're just looking for it. Like, the evil's gone. We don't have too many guys having Kramer meltdowns. Like that was a rare occurrence. It doesn't happen often enough to make sure you got to start canceling. Well, he said a joke about women. They've been doing it forever.
And when that would happen too, in the past, if someone did have that meltdown, there wasn't a camera in the club to record it. So that was just a moment in time where it was a signal to comics that like, hey, people are filming without your consent. So now you have to be aware of that.
I mean, we got to be stronger with your context, but some jokes they just take out of context. That's like it's not an easy fix to just say, "Hey, comics, be better with context," because most comics they're trying.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of timing and context makes the joke. Yeah. So it's just hard when there's a tension between people who don't know comedy who want to say they love it. They love the idea of laughing, but that's it. And then you have people who are trying to be the truth tellers. Who it's a lot of different voices. And just because if I have a different statement than you, I can still be right, and you can feel and be right.
Yeah,
we just not in the same tribe,
right? And we can also have people that are saying things that I think are funny, but I don't agree with. Like that's all the time. Like there's comics that will say things that I absolutely disagree with, but it's fucking funny.
The perspective was funny on that topic. I don't agree with. That's what it is. Like. I've heard jokes about things. I'm like, I'm not a fan of that, but like, I'm not an atheist, but I've heard some great jokes from atheists about their beliefs.
And I've heard great jokes about being a believer.
So it's like,
that shit is.
It's like, so you hear these jokes like, I should be able to laugh even if I don't agree with everything. I've laughed at Trump jokes and I've laughed at Obama jokes. I've laughed at racial jokes. I've laughed at some black jokes that were racist as hell. I'm like, okay, I get the humor, because as a comic, I respect humor also. I can be mad and upset, but it was a good joke. That was mean. It was mean spirited. That was the good roast.
All right, we got to wrap this up because I'm running out of battery here.
That's fine.
All right, thank you so much, John, for being on this episode of the Bill Squire Show. Check out John on Instagram at John Bruton and on
JohnBrutonComedy.com is finally up and running.
Yep. So. And then come see us at Hilarities January 30th.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. I'm here with Lex, a.k.a. It's Lexii Babii on OnlyFans, which you should subscribe to. I recently subscribed, and pretty good stuff. You're putting it all out there.
You kind of have to if you want to make money.
Yeah, but you've made money pretty quickly. I see some people, they go on there and I feel like they're a little shy about it, and you're already in like the top 16% of creators, which is really good.
I actually checked this morning. I made it up to 14%. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you want to make money, you have to be serious about it. It's promoting every day. I wake up, you got to do Twitter, Whisper, Reddit. I mean, and you're making accounts to promote this stuff, and then the accounts get deleted.
Yeah.
And then you want to make a new account. And if you want to keep it separate from your friends and family, you have to make separate accounts.
Is that something you're trying to do?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Most of my family is out of the age group of using like Facebook and Twitter and stuff, but then you have like cousins and you know what I mean? Like,
what would be, because I mean, it's getting more normalized, which I think is good because we're so behind when it comes to sexual freedom and sexual like liberty in America, where people are like, what if someone knows you do this for money? It's like, who cares anymore? And it's wild that people are so hung up on it. And there's this one girl that I was following for a little while on Twitter, and she did like an ask me anything, or it was on Instagram, and someone asked like, will you ever do an OnlyFans, or will you ever do like nude photos? And she said something like, I have too much self-respect to do that. And it pissed me off because I'm like, you pose with guns and trucks. Like, you don't have, like, what's your idea of self-respect? Showing a nipple is better than posing and sexualizing fucking firearms that are used to kill innocent people. Like, you're fetishizing a weapon, and that's more respectful to you than showing your pussy. Like, fuck you.
Right. And that's the thing. It all comes down to making money. Like, I'm a bartender. It's COVID. I made not even a quarter of the money that I normally would, and you have bills to pay. And honestly, like, when you think about it, at the end of the day, you're doing things that you would normally do. You just have a camera in front of you. Yeah,
and you're getting paid for them. Now, is there like a special, because I feel like the most success that girls have with OnlyFans, and also because of COVID and stuff like that, I've been having girls on regularly, and just, you know, sex workers, whatever you want to call it, onto the podcast to help promote, to get it out there, because there's people that want to support, and they like the intimacy that you get with someone on OnlyFans, because there's a lot of people like, oh, why would I pay for porn? There's a lot of porn out there on all this stuff, because people don't necessarily just want to have that, you know, titillating image. They want to have some sort of I wouldn't say relationship, but a back and forth with the person that is creating the content for them, because it's more real and it's more enticing at that point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I don't have a ton of fans. I have probably 50 fans, but they're quality fans. They want to talk to me. They want to have conversations. And the hardest part about it too is, like, everybody has these tip menus where basically you charge rates for certain stuff. You want a video chat, it's this much a minute. Like, I mean, I have on mine, you want to watch me take a bath, it's $50. And I've had people buy that before. But like the sexting thing, you get dudes that'll want to message you for 2 hours at a time, just talking dirty, but there's a charge for that. And eventually you have to be like, hey dude, you want to keep going, you kind of have to give me money.
Yeah.
Because the hardest part is with promoting, for spending 2 hours putting stuff on, again, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, you get 20 dudes that'll hit you up, and it's either, hey, can I get a free preview? Or, hey, can I be on your OnlyFans? You might get 1 to 2 people a day that are actually gonna nut up and subscribe to you.
Right. And that's the reality of it, because there is a lot of competition. That's why I'm so impressed with the, you know, earnings that you're getting, because like you said, you are, once you have those subscribers and you're fulfilling the need that they have. So whether it's the sexting or watching you take a bath or whatever it is, they're getting that fulfillment, which is nice to see. And it's nice to, you know that you are working hard and giving them what they want. And it's impressive, because it's like you said, it's a lot of promoting. And as someone that has been promoting his own stuff for the past 17 years, I fucking get it. It's brutal.
Oh yeah, a lot of them too. There's like these bot accounts that will respond to, like, because there's a bunch of groups on Facebook and stuff, OnlyFans creators, OnlyFans promos. You get people that'll message you and be like, hey, for $40, I'll promote you. Half of the time their accounts are fake, their followers are fake. And then you get guys that'll hit you up. There's a big one now where guys will be like, oh, I want you to be my sugar baby. They'll talk to you for like an hour. They guarantee you $1,500, da-da-da-da-da. And then they're like, I just need you to buy an iTunes gift card and send it to me to prove that you're legit. Like,
Fuck that.
You know, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go off on people like that, but it happens a lot where you get these bot accounts and these scammers that are literally trying to just mooch off girls' hard-earned money. Like, I'm not saying that I don't like doing what I do, but it's a lot of hard work. And for people to sit there and try to scam you for the chance that you might get promoted on a page.
Yeah.
You know?
It's lowbrow shit. So what would you say like your specialty is? What would make somebody want to subscribe to you? I mean, obviously you're a beautiful girl. You got the tattoo thing going on. You're tiny. So like what would you say is like your like most appealing or like what you're best at doing?
That's honestly my main pull right there is I'm 4'11". I mean, no matter what, the content's going to be good because honestly, I look like an 18-year-old. I'm a very tiny, petite person, blonde hair, blue eyes. I mean, I have no tits whatsoever. I'm completely flat chested. I have no pull in that department, but custom content is where I make a lot of my money. It's, hey, I want to see you clean the house in the nude. Hey, I want to see you cook dinner. Hey, I want to watch you take a bath. Stuff like that. But it's a lot of it is I have like a doll aspect about me. Again, I'm very tiny. I have a big head, blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, it's
you got to play off the strengths and
kind of fan to it.
Like I've talked to plenty of girls about this and everybody like knowing your strength and knowing how to play it up is obviously how you're going to pull in your customers. And so good for you for embracing that. What's the strangest thing that someone's asked you to do, if you don't mind?
There's a couple of them. One of them was some guy wanted to watch me pee in a cup and drink it. Obviously that was a no-go.
Yeah.
I get it. That's your fetish, whatever. You could probably find that anywhere, but he offered me like $300 to do it.
Could you do the switcheroo though? Could you pee in a cup and then
swap it with apple juice?
Yeah.
I totally thought about doing it. The thing is, I mean, even though OnlyFans is almost like a porn site, obviously, there's still moderators all over this shit that are watching everything. And one of the big no-nos is bodily fluids. Even if I pretended to do it, I could still get banned for that. And an account with thousands of dollars in it isn't worth the $300 video he wanted, you know?
That's very, I didn't know that they had those kind of restrictions. Like I knew that because I've seen some wild stuff on there. I guess I don't really get into the pee drinking stuff, but that's good for you for knowing that and not screwing yourself over and just taking the quick cash grab and, you know, having to brush your teeth a lot.
I mean, you can risk your account if you want to do it for the $300, but honestly, because the way that like OnlyFans works is you get paid on like a 7-day scale. So I'm not getting paid for something that I did 6 days ago. You know what I mean? So let's say I make that video and I have, let's say 10 grand in my account that I haven't been paid out yet for. My account gets shut down. None of that was worth it. You know,
that's a little fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah. I also had a guy offer to pay me to shove a remote up my ass, but that one was a no-go because I told him he also had to buy me a new remote, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing that." So you get some funny stuff.
It's wild what people are into. Guys are weird. There's so many weird fetishes and in different like lanes that guys are into. So I think it's funny just the weird stuff they want to do. Do you have any like scene partners or anything like that yet, or?
I have a couple of people that I can always call, and they're the ones that are cool about it. And again, this is stuff that I would normally do. There's just a camera in front of me. So those are people that I would have relations with anyway. You know what I mean? But then you also get the people that are like, oh, I'll do it, but I get half. And it's like, they're not watching this for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they're not, and you're not doing all the other work you're talking about. Like you haven't earned half. Like I could understand maybe giving them like a portion of something, like giving them a flat fee, but they're not doing all the promotion and editing and all the stuff that you're doing to make it quality content.
And that's what I tell them too. I'm like, if you want, make your own OnlyFans account. You can see how it works out and we can post the video on both. But, you know, I mean, there's one guy too, he's 6'10", and I'm 4'11". He's somebody that I have, had relations with before. We're, kind of the whole fuck buddy thing. But so I'm trying to plan something out with him, because that would, we've even talked about it before. We're like, we should videotape this shit. People would buy this up, but so that's something
that's like a whole like lane on like porn sites where it's like the big guys and like little tiny girls. So like, yeah, do that. I think
that's something that I have going in the works. So hopefully that'll be up soon.
Now he's 6'11". How does he measure up with how big's his dick basically? Is it comparable to the frame?
Quite decent, but I will say I feel bad for the guy in the aspect that when you're that tall, it doesn't matter what size dick you put on that body, it's not going to look proportional because you're so fucking big.
Yeah, because you're so big.
Yeah, 6'10", 300 pounds, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then also you have the like if he puts his hand on it, like his hands are probably massive and shit like that.
Oh, it's hilarious. He puts his hand on my back and it's literally my entire back.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous. So, but when you are there for scale, then it looks much bigger, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
and that's the thing. Like again, it plays to the whole baby doll aspect. I've got the long blonde hair. I'm very tiny. And that's really a lot of how I make my money is people just want to, it's like a Barbie doll, place me wherever they want, take a bath, do dishes. And
is there something that you wanted to do that you haven't done yet? Like something that like you're really into that you think would be like good for your OnlyFans?
There's like public scenes and stuff that I would like to do, but again, there's always a toss up of that risk.
Yeah.
If you get caught doing stuff in public, which is a big fetish for a lot of people, there could be a $1,200 fine involved.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's the money that you would make off the video.
Right.
I do have a couple of girlfriends that also have accounts and they want to do collabs with me and stuff. So that's something that's going to be in the works as well. But, and again, this is supposed to be supplemental income. It's honestly become the same amount of income that I make at my day job, but it's hard too, because I do my promoting in the morning and then I try to do it at like 5 or 6 p.m. and then again at like 10 or 11 at night, because those are peak times for people. I work from 11 to 5 every day. So I get guys that'll ask me, hey, let me get this kind of video, this kind of whatever. And it's 3 p.m. I'm at work behind a bar.
Yeah.
So a lot of my free time.
They want it then too. Yeah.
A lot of my free time is making content previously that I can just send people when they need it,
That's really smart.
Yeah. Somebody might not want a picture of, me topless, bottomless, whatever right now. But at least if I have that on me, I can send it to them when they need it.
Yeah. That's very clever. Now, in your personal life outside of OnlyFans, what's like the freakiest thing you've ever done?
Probably I had sex in a tree at a park once. It was like, hey, let's do this. Well, where are we going to do it at? And we literally climbed a tree as high as we could and just did it there. If you get caught, what are they going to do? Yeah, you got to wait for me to come down to arrest me anyway.
Yeah.
So that was quite a few years ago, though.
That's pretty wild, though. What park? No, you don't have to tell me. I'm kidding. People are going to go and smell the tree.
Right.
All right. Well, where can people find you on OnlyFans and maybe your Instagram account as well?
So it's my private Instagram account right now. I do have Twitter, Reddit, all that. Everything's under the same tag.
Okay.
It's Lexii Babii. ITSLEXII BABII.
All right.
2 I's in both. I actually am working on I have business cards and I have stickers coming to me with a QR code that you can scan.
Oh, that's great.
I'm planning to blast those all over Cleveland. So
yeah, I love it.
Hopefully it works out.
Awesome. Well, good luck with continuing to build your fan base, and congratulations on the success you've had so far. I hope it can help supplement your income and then maybe even become like a real viable source of a lot of money. I hope you can make a bunch.
We can only hope.
Yep. All right, that's all. And enjoy Lexii Babii on OnlyFans and find her on Twitter and Reddit. Check out some of her stuff. I'm sure you have like preview stuff there so they can see what they're getting into.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, check her out. How much are you charging for a subscription?
So right now it's $9.99 a month. I do bundle discounts where you can get 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month rates for 10, 20, and 30% off. Sometimes I do free trial codes, not very often though, because again, I mean, what you see on my profile for the $9.99 a month is totally worth it.
Yeah.
You get previews of all of my private videos and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I also send out mass DMs where you don't have to open the video that I send you.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, if you do, you agree to purchase it, but right. It's all quality content.
Well, thank you so much for being on the Bill Squire Show, and I'll see you on OnlyFans.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
This is the Bill Squire Show.